Hi everyone, welcome to my June plan with me. This month I decided on doing a camping theme. The reason that I chose this theme is because my birthday is this month and my family and I are going camping to celebrate. I love to be creative and make everything a little bit over the top, so this year I decided to go all out on the theming of my birthday. I headed over to Canva to create my birthday invitation and itinerary, and I loved it so much that I'm using it as this month's theme too. For all of my bullet journal setups, and like a lot of other people, I have my main month page on the right and a quote page or some kind of artwork on the left to tie into the theme. I am currently outlining everything in pencil first. I've added June in very big bubble letters front and center, and then added a bee, a flower, and a tree. On the left side of the page, I went with a tent and wrote summertime in this fun bubble lettering. I always outline my design in pencil and then will go in with a fine or bold pen to show dimension and to make the page not so flat looking. It does take longer since I'm essentially tracing over my original design, but this is the way I've always done it, and for me personally, I love how clean it looks. My favorite color is purple, so I'm adding in this purple border, and on the outsides I'm going to add in a purple gingham background. This was the most time-consuming part of making this theme. I had to essentially draw all these tiny stripes across the page, and I had to do it vertically and horizontally, but I think it turned out really well in the end. I like where the stripes meet. It's darker, so it also gives that element of dimension. I'm quickly coloring in the left side of the page with complementary colors to accent the bold look of the color page. I went with a lighter green this time on the tent because of the darker green I used for the tree. I wanted to, balance that. And then I used the similar colors like the yellow and the brown to do accents on the tent, and I think it turned out really cute. I ended up putting a backdrop on the tent, and then I wrote summertime in purple bubble letters. I ended up going back and outlining the June lettering more boldly, and I even put a drop shadow on it. Before doing this, it looked too one-dimensional, and now I think the lettering really pops. Okay, I'm now moving to the calendar page, and I am outlining these 5x5 squares that are rounded on the corners. I ended up doing this in green because you'll see later I did the background purple gingham again. So I wanted the green to kind of accent and contrast against that very bold purple background. And then I chose to have some of the green squares a darker green just to have a little bit of dimension. I also added that June, same as the cover page, in bold letters. And then I ended up doing these notes and to-do boxes. As you see in the future, I do end up putting stickers on top of them because I didn't like the way they looked. But now I'm just finishing up the design with some flowers and some s'more sticks just to incorporate the camping theme along with this calendar page. Again, I'm putting this purple gingham background like I did for the cover page. It looked a bit boring before, and I think by coloring this design, it makes the theme for the month more cohesive as you flip through the pages. Now I'm just adding in the days of the week up at the top, and then I am also numbering very plainly all of the days of the month. I have been bullet journaling since college, so I have had 7 years of finding out what works for me in my monthly setups. That's not to say that I always follow this layout, but for the most part, I always find myself falling back into it. And my habit tracker and mood tracker are always the first pages after the start of the calendar. I'm drawing these 12 calendar boxes spread out across the pages and putting in the habits I want to focus on for June. I'm adding in these flowers across the page and coloring them in just to keep up with the theme. And then I'm also going in and making that bold bubbling letter for the habit just so that it stands out and that it looks good on the page. For the actual habit boxes themselves, I am going in alternating colors that I use throughout the theme, and then I am going in and numbering each of the calendar boxes with the days of the month. I'm currently writing a book and focusing on creating a healthy workout routine, so the habits that I pick are mostly centered around ensuring that I succeed and set me up for success. My mood tracker is more creative than my habit tracker and the boxes there. I'm still going in with that bold bubble lettering, but I'm adding in a camping scene for my mood tracker. I decided to reuse the tent that I drew on my cover page. So I'm quickly outlining that, and then I'm putting in my mood key. And then I decided to also add in these stars, which I will color in based on my mood each day of the month. I'm now coloring in the tent the exact same way as I did for the one on the cover page, and then I chose 4 different colors for the moods and shaded in the key. Onto the next page, I have my playlist. This is something I will fill in at the end of the month, but I always set it up beforehand. I love Spotify's feature on your profile page of what your most listened to songs are, so I usually pull songs from that, but if there's a particular song that I know I have on repeat, I'll also add that into this playlist. I usually cut out a 3/4 of an inch square of the actual album and glue it to the page with the song and artist info. I love looking back at my past bullet journals and seeing what I was into that month. Sometimes it's embarrassing, but usually I'm praising my past me for having such good taste. I'm just outlining drop shadow in the colors that I've used for this theme, and then I'm going in with a little play, reverse, and forward icon to kind of resemble an album. And then I'm also adding in a marshmallow stick just to keep with the theme. Next to the playlist is my brain dump page. Some days during the month I just need to write down info or just rant, and this is the place where I do it. It's usually simple, so I have enough space to write, so today I went with a purple border and reused that gingham background, making sure I have enough space in the center to write down everything going on in my head. I also added in a header that says brain dump in a lovely script font. The next page is my first weekly spread of June. I've been recently putting this configuration for the first week of the month, and I have been really enjoying it, so I'm doing it again this month. I'm starting with June in that bubble lettering and then placing a calendar beneath that. I next go in with a camping scene, just some artwork to break up a little bit of the design. And I'm going with this tree. And then I have my menu for the week, what the meals I'm eating, just to keep that in a concise place. And then I have my sections of to do, For next week and notes, I find that doing this at the start of the month allows me to process the things that I haven't gotten done from last month and what do I need to accomplish this month. I'm also decorating the sections of to do next week and notes with cute little drawings. Now I'm adding in these colorful stripes underneath my sections to give the page some more design and to make it less boring. On the right side, I'm placing 6 of these boxes for Monday through Friday, and then 1 box for the weekend. I'm going in with those same colors again to create kind of a highlight of where I'm going to put the days of the week. I'm also putting in drop shadows to really make those boxes pop, just because this is kind of a simple page. Here is the final flip through of my bullet journal setup for the month of June. I love this color palette and this theme. It's really lovely for stepping into summer. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more monthly bullet journal themes. See you all in my next video. Bye!